What is going on, guys? We're bringing you NBA basketball, and this is a conversation about which NBA team has the most pressure to get an NBA championship this season. And I'm going with a team that might surprise you. In fact, you might disagree with it, but I'm going to explain the reason why I feel like this team has the absolute most pressure to get an NBA championship this year. And there's actually two teams that I'm giving you. I'm going to give you a West and an Eastern team, okay? But I'm going to start with the team that I think has the absolute most pressure. And it is because of the roster they have. It is because of certain players. I feel like this year they have to get it done. They got to get the ring this year. And that team is the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, you might say, how is that so? This is a number 4 seed. Wouldn't it be a higher seed team? Well, no. There's no pressure on Denver to get it done this year. They got it done last year. That is the only NBA championship they've gotten in the franchise history. So they've gotten that out the way. They've already proven themselves as a top team. Jokic has gotten his NBA championship ring. He's a young guy. These guys are young. There's not a crap load of pressure for them to get it done this year. There's none. I would say there's none. They're the number 1 seed, and they very well could get it done, and there's a good chance they will. But there's no pressure for them to do it. It's not like if they don't get it done, it's going to be a horrible thing for them. It's not. They have probably the next 4 years, as long as their players don't leave, as long as they stay intact, that team is perfectly fine. The Clippers, however, with Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. Now, Russell Westbrook and James Harden mainly, because those two guys have been riding on that narrative of these guys are great regular season players, but they can't win championships. Both of them have gotten NBA MVP regular season MVPs, I should say. But there's a narrative, a monkey on their back of this team cannot win it all. They're not playoff players. They can't get it done in the big stage, and that is why. And this team has been on a little bit of a landslide. Now, people are saying this team is struggling. As I got my notes right here, I have a notepad right here, just an iPad with some information on it. That's why I keep looking that direction. But I'm just kind of looking at statistics, and I'm gonna throw a statistic at you that's a little bit mind blowing, and it's just gonna put in perspective the difference between the East and West. The difference between the East and West, from a competitivity standpoint, is enormous. Okay, and I'm going to give you this crazy stat that just jumps out at you. And it's something that a lot of people may not have been paying attention to. Okay, in the Eastern Conference, Boston Celtics are the number 1 seed. Okay? Milwaukee is 11 games back as the number 2 seed. They're 11 games back from Boston, and that puts them at number 2. Now, you might say that's not extremely mind-blowing. Yeah, they're far behind. They got left in the dust. Who cares? That's not the main point that I'm making here. Here's the main point that I'm making right now. Now, again, let me repeat that. Boston is 11 games ahead of Milwaukee. That is the difference between 1 and 2 seed. Let's go to the West. Denver is the number 1 seed. There is a team that is 11 games back from them as well. And that is the 9th seed Los Angeles Lakers. So if you go 11 games back from the number 1 seed in the West, you got the number 2 seed. If you go 11 games back from the team in the West, you got the number 9 seed. You see how dramatically different that is? That is a huge difference, which means the obvious. The West is more tight. It is way more competitive over there, which means the Denver Nuggets are going to have a harder time getting to the finals. than the Boston Celtics. I believe the Boston Celtics are going to breeze right in. I don't think anybody's going to fight with them too much. I think they're going straight to the finals. I don't think anybody's going to 7 games with them. I think they may have somewhat of a slow series once and get to game 6 with somebody. Maybe. But I think they're going to breeze right into the playoffs. Denver, I think they're going to have a harder time getting there. I think teams are going to fight with them. Somebody may give them 7 games. They match up well with just about all teams, okay? They really do. But the pressure to me to win it all, a team that is, it would be the most devastating to not get the ring would be the Clippers to me. I think there's a lot of teams that if you ask their GMs, if you ask their players, they would say it's us. It's everything or nothing for us. But I think overall, the Clippers. Because those players, Paul George, James Harden, I'm not saying Kawhi Leonard because he got a ring already. But James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. And plus, that is considered a very strong roster, by the way. On paper, that is a very strong roster. And that is another reason. Anytime you have a strong roster, I would not call that a super team. I would not. Some people do. I'm not. That's not a super team. I think you're strong. Russell Westbrook is not, he's not at the top. He's not in his prime. He's not, he's effective at times, but he's not somebody like that you would call a superstar player. Right now, he was at one time. No, that's not a super team. I think some of those players are slightly overrated. Paul George is a really good player. I think he's one of them players that get a little bit more credit than he should. Kawhi Leonard is not overrated. He's definitely a good player. His only downfall to me is he gets injured a lot, and he's had some pretty extensive long injuries. That to me is his only downside. He's a defender. He can take over games. He's a really good player. He can be dominant at times. The credit he's getting, he absolutely deserves. James Harden, he joined that team, and I think that is where the pressure is. James Harden and Russell Westbrook, because they're at that age where they can't say, you know what, next year, we'll get it. They're too old for that. I think they've been in the league too long. And I think from this is the biggest chance they'll ever have this year. They're the 4th seed right now, and they were one of the strongest teams in the league at one point. I'm not going to say they were the number 1 seed. I don't think they were ever ranked 1. They might have been at some point. But there was a time where they just looked at really strong. And for me, the team that should be the most devastated and be the most hurt from not getting the ring this year would be the Clippers. I think any other team can live with it more so than the Clippers. In the East, I think it's the Boston Celtics because this Boston Celtics team has been very good for a while. They just haven't gotten that ring. They've been good for a while. Even with the other coach that got fired, they were the top team for at least 4 years now. I think they have to get it done this year. And I'm talking about get an NBA championship. That's where the pressure is in the East. And also, you can't be 11 games ahead of seed 2 and then go to the playoffs and fall apart and not get to the finals. You can't do that. So a lot of times, all the wins that they have put more pressure on teams when you win a lot because now the expectation for you to get it done in the championship is pretty high. Let's talk about some playing teams. The Lakers. People try to act like there's pressure on the Lakers. No, there's not. The Lakers are not in it to win it. They're in it to win it from their perspective. They are, but they're not. I'm letting you know right now. They're not playing for any NBA championship. They're not going. They can't. They're not a team that can match up in the West. They definitely can't match up with Denver. Who else can they not match up with in the West? Honestly, I think Denver is the only team that would definitely eliminate the Lakers. The other teams will probably beat them. And the Lakers actually match up well with the Clippers. I wouldn't even say the Clippers would even eliminate them. The Lakers have matched up well with them during the regular season. I think they're 3-1 against them, if I'm not mistaken. But Denver would definitely get rid of the Lakers pretty quick. Let's hypothetically say the Lakers were the A seed, okay? Let's say things fell into place and they were the A seed and they played Denver in the first round. They would be out of there. So I think the Lakers absolutely don't want that. They need to be 7 or 6. They don't want to be that 8 because their playoff run is going to be very short. And if you don't win the championship, at least you want to have a little bit of a run. You want to at least get out the first round. But like I said, they don't match well with Denver. If they play Denver, they're going to get smoked again. They can't play with those guys. I'm just telling you right now, they just don't match up with them. It's not going to work. So that's who I see has the absolute most pressure on them. Do you disagree with that? Do you think I'm wrong? Leave a comment. Let me know how you feel. Subscribe to this channel. We got a lot of videos coming up, a lot of sports content. Nothing but sports content, really. You know what I mean? Because this is a sports channel. But go ahead and leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. I got some pretty good content. We're going to be doing some prediction videos, especially when the playoff starts. We're going to be predicting playoff series, things of that nature. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments below.